here's what I think about books and I think the best way that you can utilize books to actually get to where you want to go. First of all, what is a book really? A book is just somebody else putting down on in a somewhere some type of story, some type of information that you're hoping is going to help you to get to where you want to be. I would say that the most important books, I would say, what should you be reading now, in a sense? Like, let's say, you want to be big time. Like, for me, I never thought I would be where I'm at right now. Like, I didn't know it was going to get this done this fast, as far as my portfolio size and all that stuff. And I can literally say that it's because the foundation I laid with the types of books I read in the beginning. So in the beginning, right, I don't have a huge portfolio. I'm going to work, but I have time. So I was reading a book a week at that time. When I first got started, I read a book a week. And they were all self-helpy-ish type books. And I wasn't sure if I was reading the right kind of books, because in my mind I was like, well, am I just becoming one of these self-help weirdos who's just reading self-help all the time? But looking back on it, hell no. And that self-help stuff is there. Like, it doesn't go anywhere. It taught, I guess, like, you could say, like, in a weird way, I think like those books because it changed my mind. So, one of my favorite books of all time is The Obstacle is the Way, which is a self-help-ish type book, right? But my life is literally the embodiment of that book. I get happy when I see hurdles because I know they're the way. Before, I was wandering around aimlessly, like, okay, damn, I just tried this and I ran into this problem. Damn, this may be, because we're taught, I don't know why, to run from things that hurt. That's what we taught to do. But for some reason, the way this world works is that you got to press into that shit. It's really just about you not being afraid, you not being fearful, overcoming your fears, feeling like you're a damn imposter because you know that you got this dream inside you. You know that you got all this potential. But then when you try to go do it, you fail. Well, guess what? That's the way. Let's see, I needed somebody to tell me that shit so that I wouldn't get discouraged every time I had a problem. And I started getting excited. So it started off as like, damn, man, well, I'm not going to quit because I know the obstacle is the way. 2, I can't wait to bust through this shit because on the other side of this obstacle is a whole nother level of success. And that's what it's about. You know what I mean? Everything that's been extraordinary that I've done has literally been because I did something that a lot of people would have just quit on. I remember when I first went out to Ohio and I wanted to start investing out of state. Now, here's stuff I haven't told yet. A lot, like when I first went out of state in Ohio, it was hard as hell. That's what people don't realize. Like, yeah, I preach, invest out of state, make all this money. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. When I first got to Ohio, there was no lenders in Ohio. No lenders. How the hell are you going to finance deals if nobody will lend to you? Now, there might have been local lenders that I didn't know about, but none of the national lenders would invest, would fund any of my deals. So I had 2 options, all cash or hard money. It's the only options I had. I lived in New Jersey. I read books. How do you invest out of state? Oh, you find a general contractor you can trust. I did all that shit. Went out there, found a general contractor I can trust who ended up stealing $20,000 from me on my first deal, which I didn't have to lose. I don't even know how the hell he was doing it because he was sending me videos of finished houses that weren't finished. So I don't know if he used some type of software. When I got out there, I'm like, is this the same house? Like, what the fuck? Like, how the hell did you even do this? And I remember I had to fire that dude, and then I had to decide. Everybody told me take him to court. But this, you gotta remember, I just got started. I ain't have deep pockets to be taking no general contractor to court. So what I did is, like I said, you can just jump into real estate and actually make a change. Is, yo, I'm not afraid of hard work. I lived in my damn properties. Shits with mice and rats running around. I swept the shit up, you know what I mean? But I lived there and I was willing to stay out there. I had the mindset. I said, yo, I left my job. I got my life savings into this shit. Like, I'm gonna stay here. And I told my friends, now the good thing is I got a great support system. Like, I told everybody who rocks with me, I'm going to Ohio and I ain't coming back till this shit is rented. Now, they knew that I was going to do it. So guess what? People started coming out, like, for free. Like my cousin, my brother, You know, my boys, they actually set up a kind of like a relay system. Two of them would come out, spend a week with me, and then they would go home, and the other two would come out. And so that I always had somebody with me, or if I was alone, I was only alone for a day or two, because they knew I'm crazy enough that I'm not coming home. And I'm in the hood. I mean, I got fiends breaking in. I'm waking up, pushing people out the window. I mean, it's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I refused, I'm gonna be honest, I refused to go back to work. So I was like, if I gotta live in this damn house and this shit is fucked up and it's mice, I would rather do that, because in my mind, that was way better. And I'm not saying my job was some hard ass job. It was the principle behind it. I didn't want to fail. But guess what? And I know, you know, I know some people believe in God, some people don't. I remember there was days that I would be doing certain things and I knew God was looking at me like, yo, I can't leave this dude, man. Like, he's doing everything he got to do. Like, I was leaving it all out on the court. I remember just carrying stuff, and because it's just me, I'm just breaking it up, taking my time, and it was raining on me, and I'm just getting the hell rained out, and I'm just doing this shit, and my other man was down there with me, and he's getting rained on, but we're not talking to each other. He got his shit in his earphones, I got mine in my earphones. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and we getting busy. You know what I'm saying? And he actually had to leave, and I told him, bro, I told you, man, you can go. No hard feelings. I appreciate the fact that you was here with me, but I'm not leaving until this shit gets done, like until it gets rented, bro. I'm not going home. And he was like, well, yo, bro, I gotta go. I said, bro, much respect. You out here with me. It's cool, bro. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. And the next morning, we had an airbed, and we were in some crazy ass spot. And I'll be honest, we was at airbed. One of the airbeds had burst. So we old school, head to toe. He got his head down there. We went to bed at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning that night. And he's going to get up and go back home. Then we got up. He looked at me and said, bro, you ain't coming home. I said, nah. We got up at 7. We only slept for an hour and a half. He said, yo, you ain't coming home? I said, nah. He said, then neither am I. And he stayed out there with me. And he rocked with me. We ended up finishing it. And I remember it felt so good when we finally got that thing rented, because nobody knew what was left out on the court to get it there. So yeah, I could sit up here and say and act like everything was good, and most people wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, yeah, was it worth it? Was the return on investment and all that? None of that shit mattered. The return on investment was what I was laying the foundation for. Most people won't do that because they say it's just not worth it. That's the only thing I knew. I didn't know how to do it any other way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that right there, you know what I'm saying? Just putting that work in, putting that time in. Those are the stuff that people don't realize at the beginning of success. But I'm going to tell you why I was like that. Because I had became like that reading them damn self-help books. You know what I'm saying? Realizing that, yo, I'm tired. But shit, there's people I read about, biographies, that everybody's tired. Like, do you want, like, you know, everybody, was it Edison? 10,000 failures? Bro, I'm not going to quit on the 6th. I mean, all these people who went before me that became successful, I read about them. So I knew what to do. I knew when everybody else would quit, I had to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Keep it 100. When I started working, man, I had lost, like, you get into a routine at your job. You get into a routine working. It's kind of whack because when you're a kid, you're like hanging out with your friends, and yo, when you're working and you trying to do stuff, it's like you kind of start losing yourself. You know what I'm saying? You get caught into this routine. When I first got back out there, no job, if you don't, yo, man, if a wolf don't hunt, a wolf don't eat. Like, nobody's just giving me anything. So I actually have to go out there and materialize and make money happen. You got to be I don't care if you're an introvert or extrovert, I don't give a damn what you are. You're going to have some way to connect with people, or you're not going to make no money. And I remember I started reading books about like networking and stuff, because even though I can network for work, it's different. When you got a network to eat, it's just completely different. Now it's just so crazy how when I meet people, how it's so easy for us to set up deals. And there's some guys I've been around, I see they do it effortlessly. You know, you'll be talking to somebody, they'll be talking about a deal, and you have to be comfortable around this. Because if you can't talk, or don't have somebody who can talk for you, or whatever, you're gonna starve. You know what I mean? But how did I get to the point where I at least had the, what's the word I'm looking for? The confidence to walk up to somebody who's, let's say, doing a certain type of deal and just be like, hey man, this is where I can add value. I don't want to waste your time. Can I get on this with you? This is what I'm looking for. And have the confidence to boldly and say, this is what I can bring to the table or whatever. I got that first from self-help books. That's why I said, for me at least, in the beginning, I was book heavy. And if you wanted to ask me, was I reading all these real estate books? I had a couple of real estate books I was reading. No, but I was working on myself. You know what I mean? Trying to find those books that I needed that was going to change my mind, was going to change my attitude, was going to change my perspective, and it was going to make me basically be like a cyborg of this shit. Like, just on a whole nother level mentally, man. I wanted to be mentally a beast. So I didn't know I was gonna be sleeping in a damn bando. I had to have the discipline not to hear mice and shit running around and not give a damn. Like, I needed the discipline to not care so much about all the little bullshit that a lot of people care about, and then they lose their dream that they were so close to getting to. Yo, let me tell you, that whole story about sleeping in that crazy ass house. Now we slept in some crazy places. You know what I'm saying? Because I was in the hood and I was in some messed up cribs. But I will tell you, my whole real estate journey turned around from that day when the dude ripped me off. I said I wasn't coming back home till everything was done. It's just been like this since then. So that right there, all those books had all that stuff I had read starting 6 and 7 years before that. That was my that was my test. That was my test. You know, you go through high school, you gotta take your test to get into college. That was my test. I passed that test. Guess what happened? Guess what happened as soon as I got it rented out? Lenders came to Ohio. As soon as lenders came to Ohio, I refied out. Got my first check for $300 and something thousand. And after that, it was a ball game. You know what I mean? But imagine if I'd have just said, man, this ain't for me. This is why these books are lying. You know what I mean? Nah, man. You gotta have something inside you that's going to keep you going. You know what I mean? That's going to keep you when them hard times come. That's going to get you to the level where you're trying to be. And that's why I believe in really reading on books that work on your mind first. Real estate books, all the other stuff you can read later, but read the books that are going to change your perspective, change your outlook, and change your mind.